Today I have a radical and crazy claim to make. You know social anxiety, fear of approaching, fear of rejection, all that funky stuff. Why can't we just be like those chill folks who sees a girl that they like on the street, in the gym, and just go up and say, hey, what's up? Why, if we imagine ourselves doing that to a girl, would feel like we're almost jumping off a cliff? We're feeling so nervous, our heart beating so fast. Why do we get that? I have an answer to it, and I just figured it out today. We have social anxiety, the fear of rejection, because our self image, in our self image, we see ourselves as exceptional. We see ourselves as how the social media people call young kings. And that is precisely the problem. Now, you may be wondering, Carson, you're connecting why my tomato is sour to the earthquake in Shanghai. Why are you connecting two irrelevant things together? Social anxiety and my positive self image? I'm gonna break it down. First, why we are nervous talking to girls, like how I'm nervous in front of the camera right now. Talking to girls, right? What could happen? Always your mom tells you, what's gonna happen if you do this? They're not gonna eat you. Girls are not gonna eat you. Rejections, right? Rejection is the worst thing that can happen. Well, some people say you can't do it because you're afraid of success, which I think is kind of BS. Rejection, we fear of rejections. But what really is a rejection? Some people who you've never gonna see again says no thanks, not interested when you approach them. It doesn't really do anything to your life substantially. Getting rejected is not even as meaningful as losing a ranked game in Overwatch, so to you. There's no reason to get so puffed up about rejections, but that's all we talk about all day and every day, isn't it? We search up on YouTube how to beat rejections. Why do I feel rejection so bad? Why does rejection feel so bad? Logically, it's not anything significant, but in our mind, it is perhaps the most significant fears we have in our lives. It's not logical. It's because our self-image. And now, going on the concept of being a king. So in social media, on those self-improvement pages, you often hear the claim, hey, young kings, work hard and build your empire. Become the alpha of the pack. Know that you are special, know that you are exceptional, all that crap. It feels good, right? It feels good for some strangers on the internet tells you, hey, young king, you yourself, my man, is a king. Why is that problematic at all? I feel very good if someone calls me a king. Well, I know it's sort of like a half joke, but half not a joke, like calling yourself a king. So we're gonna break it down. What does it really mean to be called a king? A king is successful, you might say. But the question is, do you really want to be a king? Imagine the life of a king. He's constantly worried about his political opponents. If some people who are lower ranks of him is gonna depose him, they're constantly plotting to take power. Your position is not secure. Every one of your meal could be poisoned. There could be assassins climbing out through the windows and slitting your throat at midnight when you're sleeping. You can never get a good night's sleep. You're constantly worried about invasions of other countries and famines in your own country. Maybe there's an uprising, guerrilla warfare. Being a king must be the most stressful job in the world, and you cannot trust anyone. I wouldn't want to be a king ever in my life. So, telling yourself, hey, young king, is it like, hey, I wish you have a lot of stressful work that leads to nowhere? Probably not, right? A king is successful, empire builder. Calling you a king is to wish you success. But that's also not the case, because when we talk about a king, did he really build his empire, or is it more often that he got it from his dad, his family? The king is a inherited spot. Only in rare occasions is it fought with a revolution and someone actually became a king from a civilian. So if we're using king to say that you're successful, that's more like, hey, you're a king. You are a guy who is lucky enough to be born into a powerful family, so everything's set up for you. If someone tells me that, I would say, what? Are you saying that I'm incompetent? Is that an insult or a compliment? So I don't think Kings is calling you success. What Kings is actually telling you is that you have power over other people. A king's word is law. Anyone who disrespects the king is literally killed. You are the ultimate authority of your land. You have power over everyone else. You are indeed superior than everyone else. And that's why when people say if someone actually calls me a king, I would feel really good. Not because of all the stress and the duties, not because success that I didn't build but my father gave to me. It's because the power, the sense of superiority that we feel. That's what calling yourself young king is all about. It's telling yourself that you are exceptional in your own right, that you are better than everyone else. And because of it, you will feel a lot of confidence. You will feel very powered up when you're called a king. But these pleasures, these powers, these fake confidence comes from the ego, comes from a made-up sense of superiority. I used to see myself as special. I used to literally see myself as a king. And I think that all the other people around me are NPCs, are just people who don't have it, are people who are lazy, are people who have no dreams. I can't be more wrong. And maybe you are going through this phase too. You know what other people are thinking? They don't treat you as a king. No one's a king. Or maybe they themselves think they are the king and all the other people are NPCs. They are treating you as the NPCs in their world. So after all this roundabout and circles, I'm gonna get to the point. A king is the ultimate power, right? So a king will never get rejected because his words are law, his demands are always met. But you are not a king. You logically know that you're just an average guy. And if you approach a girl, there's a big chance that you'll get rejected. Maybe even a bad rejection. Because subconsciously, you think yourself as special as a king. You also subconsciously think that you will never get rejected. You imagine that if you approach a girl, she will like you automatically, 100%. There's no risk of rejection because you're a king, of course. Logically, you know that you're an average guy, and if you approach a girl, there's a chance you'll get rejected. If you do get rejected, what's going to happen to your self-image as a king? It's going to collapse. It's going to be gone in the wind. You will suffer an identity breakdown where you will lose the superiority that you've claimed onto, that you've made up. You see yourself as a made-up king. And so you can't take a rejection because a rejection will break your entire identity. Confidence shouldn't be just, I think I'm superior than people. I think I am above average. I think I'm better than most people. Confidence in Chinese means a trust in self. Confidence means that you trust yourself to do the right actions when the situation presents itself. It's not that I trust myself to be superior than most people. That's not confidence, that's narcissism. And that's bad. Taking right action, having confidence, means to admit that if you are born king, then treat yourself as a king. If you're born as an average guy, still have self-respect, self-love, self-esteem, but know that you are not actually a king, and as an average guy, we live kind of an average life. We can get better, of course, we can make money, we can go out and socialize, but we will get rejected because we're just average, ordinary people. Once you get this out, admit that, yes, I can take a rejection. And yes, I think that I'm perfect. I like to imagine that everyone will like me, but it's not the reality. And sometimes, to find out if people like me, to make friends, to try to make friends, I gotta step out of the imagination. I gotta step out of my perfect reality and actually take a rejection. And actually see that in reality I do get rejected, and that's okay, and that's how it is. You're not a king, man. You're yourself. You're an ordinary guy, just like me. And an ordinary guy socializes because he knows rejection is a normal thing. He doesn't pretend to be a king and cheat himself that he never gets rejected, and in fact he just doesn't ever try, and of course he doesn't get rejected. And then he's gonna be alone for himself, and then he's gonna call himself an introvert, use that as an excuse. He's gonna say, why hasn't some extrovert come and adopt me? And he's gonna keep hoping and hoping and never refuse to believe that he's not a king, that he's actually just a guy, and that being a guy is not a big deal. It's fine because you are a guy, right? So, to wrap this up, you're just a guy. A guy gets rejected. It's okay. It's a self-image issue. If you keep seeing yourself as a king, well, the consequence will be that you live in a distorted reality. So wake up if you choose to, or keep sleeping. I'm just here to tell you this new discovery that I have. Take care.